We cut to the convoy seen at the end of the last episode, specifically a covered jeep carrying Maggie, Gabriel, and Rosita. After noticing that the guard who's sitting with them has fallen asleep, Maggie gets to work breaking her restraints before helping Gabriel, who then gets Rosita out of hers. Rosita and Gabriel manage to jump out of the jeep. Later, Rosita convinces Gabriel that they should follow the convoy's tracks and try to rescue Coco. Along the way, they're attacked by a pair of ninja zombies. They manage to take them out, but the fight results in Rosita dislocating her shoulder. After instructing Gabriel on how to pop it back in place, they hear a train and head toward it. Elsewhere, Ezekiel wakes up from the bus along with Negan, Annie, Kelly, and a bunch of extras. As they correctly speculate who escaped from the convoy's missing jeep, a man, the warden, gets on and announces they've arrived at a labor camp. As long as everyone cooperates, they'll be able to see the children who the Commonwealth took. He also declares that no one is to address anyone else by name, including the guards. The warden then selects a group of prisoners for another transport, while the rest are ordered to stay and clear the train tracks. Annie ends up being picked, prompting Negan to promise he'll find a way out for them and their unborn child. Daryl and Carol are scouting the train station when they spot one of the jeeps arriving with Connie. On the radio the pair took last episode, they hear a soldier and supervisor discussing why Connie was separated from the rest of the workers, which involves something very bad. It's clear Daryl is desperate to save her, but he also realizes that doing so would mean the troopers holding the children would get advance warning of their presence. Carol assures him they'll find a way to rescue everyone. As the train starts moving down the tracks, with Connie in one of the cars, Carol and Daryl get in their jeep and tail it as best they can. They eventually decide to get ahead of the train and locate one of the junction points to see which direction it goes. Daryl is ready to keep moving, but Carol convinces him they need to sit tight. When a Commonwealth soldier, Trooper 141, rides by on a motorcycle, Trooper 141 stops, checks in, and notices Zombie Kid walking towards him. When he takes out his gun to shoot him, Maggie uses the distraction. She also manages to successfully knock him out, but forgets about Zombie Kid. Inside a nearby horse stable, Daryl roughs up Trooper 141. After informing him that he's going to die soon, Daryl pleads with the soldier to tell them where the train is going and what the Commonwealth is planning for Connie. 141 reveals that Gabriel's friends have been sentenced to hard labor at a nearby camp. He doesn't know what Destination 2 means for Connie, but anyone else who's ever had that label was never seen again. Afterward, Carol reveals she has an idea that will allow them to save Connie without the soldiers guarding the Coalition children being alerted. Daryl, Carol, Gabriel, and Rosita stalk the other troops into the woods as they go to clear out a few random walkers. Just as one of them discovers that the junction switch was purposefully jammed, a firefight breaks out. Maggie and co initially have the upper hand, but are forced into a standoff when one of the troops pulls Connie off the train and holds her at gunpoint. Unfortunately for him, Connie is a badass and breaks free from his grasp while also knocking his gun away. After the soldier knocks her down, Daryl runs to check on Connie, allowing him to grab a motorcycle and ride off to warn the other troops at Outpost 22 about what's happened. This incredibly poor decision leads to Daryl grabbing a motorcycle and giving chase. When the trooper goes off-road and crashes, Daryl slides his bike beneath a downed tree and knocks him over before plunging a knife into his head. Wilson relents and reveals there's a map in the train's engine room which he'll show them. On the way there, he somehow gets hold of a large iron spike and threatens to kill himself, explaining that Outpost 22's warden will torture him and kill his family otherwise. Carol tries to reason with him, but Wilson shoves the screwdriver through his throat. With options and time running low, Rosita suggests they get the train's long-range radio working again. Negan suggests that he can give the kingdom's former lead the spark he needs to start an uprising. Unfortunately, doing that likely means that Negan won't escape Outpost 22 alive. That night, Rosita convinces someone at Commonwealth Command that she's lost in the woods due to the train being overtaken. The radio operator gives Rosita and co directions to Outpost 22 as Negan and co are being bussed there. All of the coalition members are shocked to discover that Outpost 22 is actually a repurposed Alexandria.